I'll tell you why they didn't give him a contract. Number one, Joe Shane is probably telling John Harbaugh, look, this guy was way overweight last year. You know, we tried to talk him into losing some weight, and he just didn't do it. He got hurt. He wasn't the same player that, you know, he was when we gave him the contract. He's going to be 29 years old. And I would say for Dexter Lawrence, he's doing what he should be doing to protect his future. But he also needs to, you know, show motivation. He needs to show somebody some motivation. And my initial sense about all of this is about, see ya. This is going to be a trade, and this is going to be gone now. Because there's no way the Giants are going to give him the money that he's going to want, because they know the player. They know what he was like last year. You know, and John Harbaugh may have said all the right things about Dexter Lawrence, may have said all the right things about Odell Beckham Jr., may have said all the right things about Joe Shane, but he's not inheriting a $28 to $30 million albatross around his neck over the next 4 years, no matter how good Dexter Lawrence was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the timing for this is not great for Dexter Lawrence after what happened last year. I mean, I remember the Carl Banks criticism of Dexter Lawrence saying that, you know, the teams don't respect you anymore and all of those things that we heard. And it's just another one of those guys that I put my full support behind, and then things went sour with them. If you remember talking to Dexter Lawrence in training camp, and I was like, hey, man, you know, and he was up until last year, I said, you are on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. He was.
Yeah, but he's not.
And now this year happens, and all this controversy. And I mean, if you're going to get Dexter Lawrence for the first 6 years of his career, or, you know, prior to last year, you know, you are getting one of the more dominant interior defensive linemen in football, and you're going to have to pay him like that. But was last year the start of the decline? I mean, that's really the question. But, you know, this guy was one of the best defensive players in the game. I think he was ranked like number 17 in the top 100 that the players vote for prior to last year. I mean, that's how well respected he was. And then you got this dud year, and here we are. So this will be interesting, but, you know, he doesn't have a lot of leverage here.
No, well, the only thing he has is that he's an NFL player, and he doesn't have protection guarantees moving forward. And yeah, we could talk about all the other defensive tackles that have signed contracts are all younger than he is.
Well, maybe not Chris Jones.
Yeah, but he's not even in the conversation with Chris Jones. Timeout. I mean,
what do you mean? I mean, this guy was an all-pro for multiple years.
Yeah, he was at one point in time. Chris Jones has gotten better as he's gone on. And when you look at them standing next to each other, and you look at the athlete versus the blob, I mean,
the blob.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of the problem.
Blob.
I'm telling you, that's part of the problem. He's way too big. He's just completely out of shape from last year, and I think he also was hurt. And I want to take that into consideration. But when you look at whether, I don't care, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, you know, any of the guys on the list that we're looking at right now on CBS Sports Network, he's not getting that contract from the Giants. He's just not, because internally they know what's going on. And by the way, who hired John Harbaugh? Who was the guy that went down to see John Harbaugh? Was it Joe Shane?
That was Chris Mayer.
Exactly. It's ownership. And ownership, you know, when they go out and they get a guy like John Harbaugh, they're telling you two things. Number one, they want to restore credibility in the organization. So they want to hire somebody who has a track record of winning. And number two, they want to clean up the locker room. And when I say clean up the locker room, I mean, they don't want it to be a country club. They want edge. They want to fight. They want somebody. They want people, as you say, who love ball. And the question is, internally over there, I'm sure for the Giants, while this is a very good player who at one time was one of the better players at his position, there's a reason why Carl Banks came out and said what he said.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
When you zero in on fat guys, man, you just hammer them.
I'm not paying them. I'm sorry.
Luke, Mekhi Becton. Now we got Dexter Lawrence.
Was I right about Mekhi Becton?
Yeah.
Was I right about Luka Doncic?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, you weren't.
I was.
No, you weren't.
When he was in Dallas, I was.
He went to the finals the previous year.
Yeah, but the problem, he came back after the finals.
I'm not going to do this because you're just never going to. Yeah, you're just not going to.
He came back as Fat Luka, and then he goes and gets traded to like a La La Land, and then he's got to look like he's. I
think Dexter Lawrence deserves a little more respect for what he's done in his career than just like all of a sudden one bad year is a blob. I mean, this guy has been awesome.
But that's part of the problem, G. Like he's got the money, he got the big contract, and now all of a sudden, last year was terrible for him. He was overweight. Why do you think Carl Banks is saying what he's saying?
He had a bad year, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be terrible for the rest of his career. He's going to come in out of shape.
But he wants a new contract. And if you're the Giants and he's coming off of that year, and the Giants watched him after they gave him the last contract steadily get worse, you're going to turn around and say, okay, we're going to try to match you to Jordan Davis.
I don't think he was great. He didn't steadily get worse. It was a stark decline in 1 year. And really the question is that an aberration, or is this what you're going to get? And if you're the Giants, I don't budge on this. I say, all right, come into camp, get in shape, and then maybe we'll talk about a contract.
No, I'm just telling you, it's not going to work that way. He wants out. He wants out now. And I'm on his side for where he is in his career and what he's trying to get done. He has the right to do that, but he's got to show somebody or some other team out there that he's willing to put in the work, the effort to get in better shape, to be that to become that 3-down player that he was. I'm not paying some guy for what he did. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I'm going to pay some guy for what he can do and what he will do and how he will show me that he deserves the money that he wants. So, behind the scenes, this has been going on with Joe Shane. And John Harbaugh is like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing any of it. They haven't even met face-to-face yet. And he's not coming, and this tells you all you need to know. He's missing OTAs, and there's a $500,000 signing bonus that goes along with the OTAs, and he's just like, I'm not coming for that. I'm sorry. I want to see a guy in OTAs that looks like he's ready to rock and roll and that he's been working out and that he's ready to fix what happened last year. And I don't necessarily know the Giants get that feeling.
Yeah, he's still making a lot of money for the next 2 years.
But it's not guaranteed after this year. He's making his guarantee this year would be his contract once he gets here and the season starts. That's it. If he's here and he plays, but he's not going to play under this number. Because he wants long-term guarantee.
What is he going to do if the Giants don't trade him? Is he just going to sit there and pay the fines the rest of the time? That's really there's no leverage by the players.
The last thing you want is somebody that is perceived to be your best player unhappy in your locker room, especially when you're a new coach taking over and you're doing things differently and you're going to require more from the players.
Yeah, but also he right now is the lowest value he's ever had. So if you're thinking of trading him,
the value is going to be, if you're sitting here telling me that it's the lowest value he's ever had, then obviously you agree with me that he didn't play well and he hasn't played well.
I said that he had a bad year last year. Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, the previous, he wasn't just a run-of-the-mill player prior to last year. He was a dominant, all-pro, best player on the team.
I wonder if they got any calls on him like Muji got calls on his guys.
Oh, without a doubt. We heard that for years.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they did get calls last year and they didn't trade him, then they missed an opportunity then. Because now, under the current situation, it may be a little bit harder to trade him, and whoever signs him is going to have to give him a new contract, too. You got to take that into account.
Yeah, that's why I don't think he's going anywhere. I really don't. Unless they're really to just completely shed him and be like, okay, let's get rid of this guy. You got to remember, too, the Giants' run defense last year, was bad.
And he was in there.
Yeah, so, are you replacing him with somebody better, though? I don't know.
Can you replace him with anybody worse?
I think you're overreacting a little bit to how bad he was. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy, because he was so great, there was a drop-off. He wasn't one of the worst players in sport.
Harbaugh coming here is like Coughlin coming here. All right, just so you understand the mindset of what the Giants did when they hired and fired coaches.
Yeah.
They went down the path of the assistant coach who's never been a head coach. It hasn't worked out for them. What has worked out for them, especially within the last 20 years, is hiring a coach that has a background of being a stabilizing force, being a force in himself, and then basically bringing that credibility and creating a culture that, for players that really want to love playing football and that's keeps what John Harbaugh keeps saying. And the question within the Giants prior to John Harbaugh getting here is that, is Dexter Lawrence really that guy, or did we overpay that guy and then the money changed him?
Do you believe in PFF?
I do.
All right, so they ranked him last year, 2025, 9th among 134 interior defensive linemen.
Okay.
Even in his worst year, top 10.
That's great. I do believe in them.
Yeah, so.
I mean he's a mountain.
How bad was he?
He's a mountain of a man. There's no question about it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just
not giving him a 4-year, $95 million contract with $60 million
off his worst year. Yeah,
$60 million guaranteed. So the Giants are in a weird spot. You either give him the contract and bring him in, and he's happy, kind of like what the Jets did with Gardner and Garrett Wilson, or if you expect him to play under the current set of circumstances, he's going to be unhappy. And you never know what kind of effort you're going to get from an unhappy player. And the last thing you want is supposedly one of your best players being, a thorn in the coach's side, if you will.
Yeah, especially when he's trying to change the culture, as they say.
Right.
All right, Boomer and Gio just getting started on this Tuesday morning. Jerry joins us with his first update of the morning coming up in just a couple of minutes. Weather brought to you by Saints Joachim and Ann Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Sunny this morning, clouds and wind this afternoon, high of 51. It's 44 right now in the city.